I'm standing in our garage at 2 in the morning and my hands won't stop shaking. The flashlight beam cuts through the darkness, landing on something silver nestled between old blankets and rusty tools in Dad's car trunk. My breath catches in my throat because I know exactly what it is before I even reach for it. Violet's locket. The one she wore every single day since our 13th birthday. The one that was supposed to be at the bottom of Crescent Lake with her body that they never found. I pick it up with trembling fingers. It's cold and slightly damp, and there's something inside making it heavier than I remember. My heart hammers against my ribs as I pop it open. Instead of the tiny photos of us as kids, there's a folded piece of paper, yellowed and water-stained around the edges. I unfold it slowly, carefully, like it might disintegrate in my hands. The handwriting is shaky, desperate, written in what looks like eyeliner pencil. I angle the flashlight closer and read the first word. Help. My heart stops. Actually stops for a moment before lurching back to life, pounding so hard I can hear it in my ears. I need to go back. I need to explain how I got here, standing in this garage in the middle of the night, holding proof that everything we've been told is a lie. 6 months ago, my twin sister Violet drowned at Crescent Lake during our family camping trip. That's what everyone says. That's what the police report says. That's what Dad told the investigators when they dragged the lake for 3 weeks and found nothing. Violet went swimming alone at night. The water was cold and dark. She must have gotten disoriented, gotten caught in the weeds near the deep section. These things happen. Tragic accident. Case closed. We came home without her, without even a body to bury. Mum stopped getting out of bed. Dad stopped talking about her completely. He packed away all her things within a week and forbade anyone from mentioning her name. When I tried to talk about her at dinner one night, he slammed his fist on the table so hard the plates jumped and told me that dwelling on the dead wouldn't bring them back. I learned to grieve silently, alone in the room we used to share. I'd lie in my bed and stare at her empty bed across from mine, waiting for her to come home, waiting for this nightmare to end. 3 weeks ago, something changed. I woke up at midnight to use the bathroom and saw them for the first time. Wet footprints in the hallway, small, barefoot prints that definitely weren't there when I went to bed. They started at the front door and led straight down the hall, stopping right outside my bedroom door. I thought I was seeing things. Grief does strange things to your mind, right? I cleaned them up with a towel and went back to bed, my heart racing for reasons I couldn't explain. But the next night they were back. Same pattern. Same wet prints. Same cold puddles of water on the hardwood floor. I started staying awake, watching, waiting. The prints appeared every single night at different times, sometimes at 11. Sometimes at 2 in the morning. Sometimes I'd hear the front door creak open even though it was locked, even though nobody came in. The prints would just appear, one after another, like invisible feet were walking through our house. Always leading to my room, always stopping at my door. I never told anyone. Mum wouldn't have believed me through her medication haze. Dad would have exploded, accused me of making up stories for attention. So I documented it. I took photos on my phone. I measured the prints. Size 6, exactly Violet's shoe size. I checked for leaks in the ceiling, checked the windows, checked everything rational I could think of. Nothing explained it. Last night I decided I wasn't going to sleep. I was going to see where they came from. I sat on my floor in the dark, watching the crack under my door, waiting. At 1:47 in the morning, I heard it. The soft click of the front door opening. My whole body went cold. I grabbed my phone and crept to my bedroom door, pressing my ear against it. Silence. Then the soft sound of water dripping onto wood. I opened my door as quietly as I could. The hallway was dark except for the moonlight coming through the window at the end. And there they were, forming right in front of my eyes. Wet footprints appearing one step at a time on the floor, like someone invisible was walking toward me. But nobody was there. The prints moved past my door this time, heading toward the stairs. I followed them, my phone, flashlight off, my bare feet silent on the cold floor. They led down the stairs, across the living room to the front door. The door was open just a crack, cold night air seeping in. I stepped outside, the concrete driveway freezing under my feet. The prints continued across the driveway, glistening in the moonlight, leading straight to our garage. The side door was ajar. Inside, Dad's car trunk was open. Just slightly, like someone had closed it, but it hadn't latched properly. That's when I found the locket. That's when everything I thought I knew shattered into a million pieces. I'm still holding it now, staring at that single word. Help. I force myself to keep reading, tilting the paper toward the light. The second word makes my blood turn to ice. Dad. The paper slips from my fingers and flutters to the ground. I stumble backward, my shoulder hitting the car, my mind racing through impossibilities and horrible possibilities and questions I'm terrified to answer. Because Violet didn't write this before she died. She couldn't have. The locket was with her at the lake, and her body was never recovered. So how did it end up in our father's trunk? I can't sleep. I haven't slept since I found the locket 4 hours ago. I'm lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, the locket hidden under my mattress, where Dad will never think to look. My mind won't stop replaying that night at Crescent Lake, searching for details I missed, clues I was too grief-stricken to notice. The camping trip was Dad's idea. He'd been insisting on it for weeks, even though none of us wanted to go. Mom said she was too tired. I said I had summer homework. Violet said she'd rather stay home. But Dad wouldn't take no for an answer. He said we needed family time, that we were growing apart, that one weekend away wouldn't kill us. I remember the look on Violet's face when he said that, like she wanted to argue but knew it would only make things worse. We'd been fighting with Dad a lot that summer. Well, Violet had been fighting with him. I mostly stayed quiet and let her take the heat. That's how it always was. Violet was brave. Violet stood up to him. Violet protected me from his temper, his yelling, his need to control everything we did. She wanted to go to college across the country. Dad said absolutely not. She was staying local where he could keep an eye on her. She'd started talking about moving out when she turned 18, getting a job, sharing an apartment with friends. Dad said she was being ridiculous, that she'd never survive on her own, that she needed him. Their arguments got worse every week. I'd hear them through the walls at night, his voice low and threatening, hers defiant but shaking. Mom never intervened. She'd just take another pill and pretend everything was fine. The night before Violet disappeared, I woke up to voices outside our tent. It was past midnight. I unzipped my sleeping bag quietly and crept closer to the tent wall, listening. Dad's voice was barely above a whisper, but I could hear the anger in it. You're not going anywhere. You think you can just leave? You think I'll let you ruin this family? You'll do what I say, Violet. You'll stay here, and you'll stop with this rebellious nonsense. Violet's voice was steady, but I could hear the fear underneath. I'm 17. In 3 months I'll be 18, and you can't stop me. I found the photos, Dad. I know what you've been hiding. Photos? What photos? You don't know anything. Dad's voice went even quieter, deadly calm. And you're going to forget whatever you think you saw. Are we clear? Silence. Then, Violet, we'll see what Mom thinks when I tell her. I heard footsteps crunching away on gravel, Dad walking back to his tent. I stayed frozen, my heart pounding, wondering what Violet had found. What photos was she talking about? But I was too scared to ask her. Too scared Dad would hear us. I should have asked her. I should have made her tell me. Maybe if I had, she'd still be alive. The next day was normal. Awkward, tense, but normal. We hiked around the lake. We roasted hot dogs for dinner. Dad barely spoke to Violet. She barely looked at him. Mum noticed nothing, too busy organising the cooler and commenting on the beautiful sunset. Around 7 in the evening, Violet said she was going for a walk to clear her head. She grabbed her jacket and headed toward the trail that circled the lake. I watched her go, her ponytail swinging, her hands shoved in her pockets. That was the last time I saw my sister alive. Here's what I remember that I didn't think about until now. Dad didn't seem worried when Violet didn't come back after an hour. Mum started getting anxious around 8:30, asking if we should go look for her. Dad said to give her space, that she was just being dramatic, that she'd come back when she was ready. By 9:30, Mum was crying, begging Dad to go search for her. He finally stood up, slowly, like it was an inconvenience. But before he left, I saw him check his watch. Not in a worried way. In a calculating way. Like he was timing something. He came back 20 minutes later and said he couldn't find her. Said her footprints led toward the lake and then disappeared. That's when he called the police. That's when the search began. But here's what haunts me now in the darkness of my room. He sat by that campfire for over an hour before he started looking. He knew she was gone. He knew exactly where she'd gone. And he didn't panic. He didn't rush to find her. He just sat there staring into the flames, waiting. A creak in the hallway snaps me back to the present. My whole body goes rigid. I hold my breath and listen. Footsteps. Wet footsteps on the hardwood floor, slow and deliberate. They're coming down the hall toward my room. The sound of water dripping accompanies each step. Drip, step, drip, step. They stop outside my door. I'm staring at the door, my blankets pulled up to my chin, my phone clutched in my hand beneath the covers. The doorknob starts to turn, so slowly I can hear the mechanism clicking. The door creaks open. Inch by inch, nobody's there. Just darkness and the hallway light casting long shadows. But the wet footprints are there, glistening on my bedroom floor, leading from the hallway to the foot of my bed. The air in my room drops 20 degrees. I can see my breath now. The smell of lake water fills my nose, thick and rotten and unmistakable. I don't know what makes me do it. Maybe it's desperation, maybe it's grief. Maybe I've finally lost my mind, but I whisper into the darkness, my voice cracking. Violet, if that's you, if you're somehow here, please show me what happened. Show me the truth. The temperature drops even further. The wet prints on my floor start to move, pacing back and forth at the foot of my bed like someone anxious, like someone trying to communicate. Then they turn and walk toward my desk. A piece of paper flutters off the surface and lands on the floor. I force myself to get out of bed. My legs are shaking so badly I almost fall. I pick up the paper with trembling hands. It's from Violet's old notebook, one I'd saved from her things before Dad threw everything away. There are 2 words written on it in water, the letters already starting to fade. Trust nobody. I wait until Dad leaves for work at 7 in the morning. I haven't slept at all. The paper with those water-written words dried completely by sunrise, leaving no trace that anything was ever written on it. But I know what I saw. I know what Violet was trying to tell me. Trust nobody. Mum is still in bed like she is every morning now. I can hear her crying softly through her bedroom door as I walk past. Part of me wants to comfort her. But a bigger part knows I need to find answers before I can help anyone. I stand outside Dad's bedroom door, my hand on the knob, my heart racing. He never lets anyone in here anymore. Not since Violet died. He keeps it locked when he's gone, but I watched him this morning through a crack in my door. I watched him grab his keys and his wallet, distracted and rushing because he was late. He forgot to lock it. I push the door open. The room smells like his cologne and something else, something stale and wrong. His bed is unmade. There are empty beer bottles on the nightstand. This isn't the father I grew up with. That man was strict but organized, controlling but clean. This version is falling apart, and I wonder if it's guilt eating him alive. I start with the obvious places. The nightstand drawers have nothing but old receipts and spare change. Under the bed is just dust and a pair of shoes. I'm about to give up when I notice his closet door is slightly open. Inside, pushed to the very back behind winter coats we never use, is a black duffel bag I've never seen before. My hands shake as I pull it out. It's heavy. The zipper sticks, and I have to yank it twice before it opens. My breath stops completely. Violet's phone. The rose gold case with the crack in the corner from when she dropped it last summer. The phone that was supposedly in her pocket when she drowned. Her journal. The purple leather one she wrote in every night before bed. The one she'd had since we were 15. Her sneakers. White Converse with rainbow laces that she drew little stars on with Sharpie. They're still damp. Still covered in dried mud and something green that looks like algae. I grab the journal with shaking hands and flip through the pages. Her handwriting fills every line, entries about school and friends and her dreams of leaving home. I flip to the end, looking for the last entry. It's dated the night she died. My vision blurs as I read. He knows I found the photos. I went through his car yesterday looking for the insurance papers Mom asked for, and I found them hidden under the spare tire. Photos of Dad with another woman and 2 little kids. Kids who look like they're around 10 years old. He has another family, another life. And from the dates on the photos, he's been living it for years. I confronted him tonight, told him I was going to tell Mom everything. He grabbed my arm so hard I know it's going to bruise. He said if I told anyone, he'd make sure I disappeared. He said nobody would believe me anyway, that I was just a stupid kid who didn't understand adult relationships. But I understand perfectly. He's been lying to us for years. He's been stealing from us, from Mom, to support them. And I'm not going to let him get away with it. I'm going to hide this journal somewhere safe tomorrow. Somewhere he'll never find it. If something happens to me, if he actually... The entry ends. Just stops mid-sentence like she was interrupted. I'm holding the journal so tight my knuckles are white. Photos. He had another family. Violet found out. And the next day she was dead. A car door slams outside. My blood turns to ice. I scramble to the window and peek through the blinds. Dad's truck is in the driveway. He's home. He forgot something. Or he never actually left. Or maybe he knew I'd search his room and this was a trap. I hear the front door open downstairs. His heavy footsteps on the stairs, taking them 2 at a time. I barely have time to shove the journal back in the bag, zip it up, and push it into the closet. I'm standing in the middle of his room when he appears in the doorway. His eyes are dark and cold, scanning the room before landing on me. For a moment, neither of us moves. Neither of us speaks. The air feels thick with danger. What are you doing in here, Cassie? My mind races for a lie, anything believable. I was looking for Mum's medication. She said she thought she left it in here and she's having a really bad morning. I'm sorry, I should have waited for you to get home. He steps into the room, closer to me. Too close. I can smell the coffee on his breath. Her medication is in the bathroom where it always is. Try again. My heart is pounding so hard I'm sure he can hear it. I couldn't find it there. I thought maybe she moved it. I'm sorry. He stares at me for what feels like an eternity. Then his gaze shifts to the closet. The door is still slightly open. Exactly as open as I found it, but now I'm terrified he'll notice, that he'll know I was in there. You need to stop looking for things that aren't there, Cassie. His voice drops to barely above a whisper, and it's more terrifying than if he'd yelled. Violet's gone. Accept it. Move on. The more you dig into the past, the more you're going to hurt yourself and your mother. Do you understand me? I nod because I don't trust my voice. Good. Now get out. I walk past him on shaking legs. Forcing myself not to run, I make it to my room and close the door, pressing my back against it, trying to catch my breath. That night, the wet footprints come back. But this time they don't stop at my door. They lead past my room down the stairs. I follow them, my phone flashlight cutting through the darkness. They lead to the basement door. The door Dad always keeps locked, but tonight it's open, just a crack. The footprints go down the wooden stairs into the black basement below. I follow them, each step creaking under my weight. At the bottom, I sweep my flashlight around. In the corner, there's a folded tarp. Dark stains seep through the canvas. Next to it, a shovel with dried mud caked on the blade. Behind me, I hear a voice, a whisper that sounds exactly like Violet. He didn't let me leave. I run. I don't even think about it. I just run up those basement stairs so fast I almost trip, my phone clattering on the steps behind me. I grab it and keep going, my breath coming in panicked gasps, that whisper echoing in my head. He didn't let me leave. I lock myself in my bedroom and spend the next 3 hours sitting on my floor, trying to decide what to do. The sun is starting to rise. Birds are chirping outside like this is a normal morning. Like my world hasn't just collapsed completely. I can't do this alone anymore. I can't pretend I don't know what I know. I can't keep living in this house with a murderer. I make a decision. At 8 in the morning, I sneak out while Dad is in the shower and Mom is still asleep. I ride my bike to the police station. Violet's locket in my pocket along with photos I took of the journal entry on my phone last night. My hands won't stop shaking as I lock my bike outside. The officer at the front desk looks bored until I say I need to speak to Officer Bernard Cole about my sister's case. His expression changes. He makes a phone call and 5 minutes later Officer Cole appears. He's older than I remember from the investigation, with grey hair and tired eyes that have seen too much. But those eyes sharpen when he sees me. "Cassie Harper," he says quietly. "Come with me." He leads me to a small interview room and closes the door. I sit across from him at a metal table and suddenly I can't find the words. How do I explain everything? How do I make him believe me? "Whatever you need to tell me," he says gently. "I'm listening." "I've been waiting 6 months for someone in your family to tell me the truth." That breaks something open inside me. "You knew?" "I suspected." He leans forward, his hands clasped on the table. "Your father's story never sat right with me. The timeline was off. His reactions were wrong, but I had no evidence, no witnesses, nothing to contradict his version of events. Until now, I'm guessing." I pull out the locket and place it on the table between us. His eyes widen. "Where did you find this?" "In my father's car trunk, 3 nights ago." My voice cracks. "It was supposed to be at the bottom of the lake with Violet." I tell him everything. The wet footprints, the journal entry, the photos of another family, the conversation I overheard the night before Violet died, the duffel bag in Dad's closet with Violet's things, the tarp and shovel in the basement. I show him the photos on my phone, my hands shaking so badly he has to hold the phone steady to see them. When I finish, Officer Cole is quiet for a long moment. Then he stands up. "Stay here. Don't leave this room." He's gone for 20 minutes. When he comes back, he has 2 other officers with him and a piece of paper. "We're going to your house right now," he says. "We have a warrant to search the property. I need you to come with us, but you'll stay in the patrol car. Can you do that?" I nod, unable to speak. The drive back to my house feels like it takes forever and no time at all. There are 3 police cars. Officer Cole tells me to wait while they approach the front door. I watch from the back seat, my heart in my throat as they knock. Dad opens the door. He's holding a coffee mug. He looks confused at first, then his eyes find me in the police car. His expression goes completely blank. Empty, like a mask sliding over his face. Officer Cole says something I can't hear. Dad steps aside and lets them in. He doesn't argue, doesn't ask questions, just watches with those dead eyes as officers spread through our house. It takes them 40 minutes to find what they're looking for. I see them bringing bags of evidence out to their cars. The duffel bag, the tarp, the shovel, tools from the garage. They search Dad's truck thoroughly, and I see one officer stand up from examining the trunk and call the others over. Officer Cole comes out and speaks into his radio. 2 more cars arrive. One of them has equipment I recognize from crime shows. Evidence collection. A photographer. An officer brings Mom outside. She's crying. Confused, clutching her bathrobe around herself. They sit her in a separate car, and a female officer stays with her, talking quietly. Then Officer Cole walks up to Dad, who's standing on the front porch like a statue. I can't hear what he's saying, but I see him pull out handcuffs. I see Dad turn around and put his hands behind his back without being asked. As they lead him past the car I'm sitting in, he stops, turns his head and looks directly at me through the window. His face is still blank, but his voice carries clearly through the glass. "She was going to ruin everything. She found the photos. She was going to tell your mother about them, about the life I'd built in the next town over. She was going to destroy our family, destroy me. I couldn't let her do that. I gave her a choice at the lake that night. Stay quiet or face the consequences. She chose wrong. Officer Cole tries to move him along, but Dad keeps talking, his eyes locked on mine. I told her we were going to talk, took her out to the lake. She tried to run. I caught her, put her in the trunk until she calmed down. But she didn't calm down. She kept screaming, kept fighting. So I waited until she stopped. Then I weighted her down and put her where nobody would find her. My whole body has gone numb. I can't feel anything. Can't process what I'm hearing. It should have stayed buried, Dad says calmly, like he's discussing the weather. You should have let it stay buried, Cassie. They pull him away and put him in the car. I watch them drive off, the man who raised me, the man who killed my sister, sitting calmly in the back seat like he's going to work. Officer Cole opens my door. We need to drain a section of the lake. Based on what he just confessed, we know where to look. I'm sorry, Cassie. I'm so sorry you had to hear that. That night, I lie awake in a hotel room with Mom. The police said we couldn't stay at the house while they processed it as a crime scene. Mom hasn't stopped crying. The medication can't touch this pain. At 2 a.m, I feel it. The temperature drops. The smell of lake water fills the room. But this time, I'm not afraid. Wet footprints appear on the carpet, walking from the door to my bed. They stop beside me. I feel a cold hand touch my shoulder, gentle and familiar. Thank you, I whisper into the darkness. The footprints walk toward the window and fade away. The temperature returns to normal. The smell disappears. She's saying goodbye. The funeral is 11 days later. They found Violet's body exactly where Dad said it would be, weighted down with stones in a deep section of the lake, tangled in the reeds where the search teams never looked. The medical examiner said she'd been there the whole time. 6 months at the bottom of Crescent Lake. The service is small, just Mom and me, a few of Violet's friends from school, and Officer Cole, who stands in the back quietly. Mom can barely stand. I hold her arm as we watch them lower the white casket into the ground. It's a clear day, warm and sunny, the kind of day Violet would have loved. The kind of day that feels wrong for a funeral. The pastor says words about peace and rest and being with the angels now. I don't hear most of it. I'm staring at the casket, at the flowers covering it, thinking about how Violet should be starting her senior year next week. She should be applying to colleges. She should be alive. Mom breaks down completely when they start filling in the grave. Her sobs echo across the cemetery. I'm crying too, but quietly, tears streaming down my face as I watch the dirt cover my sister forever. After everyone leaves, I stay. Mom goes back to the car with Officer Cole, but I need a few more minutes alone with Violet. I kneel in the grass beside her grave and trace my fingers over the temporary marker with her name. I'm sorry I didn't save you, I whisper. I'm sorry I didn't ask you about the photos. I'm sorry I wasn't brave like you, but I promise I'll be brave now. I promise I'll live enough for both of us. The wind picks up, warm against my face. And for just a moment I swear I smell Violet's perfume. That vanilla and lavender scent she always wore. Then it's gone. The trial happens faster than I expected. Dad pleaded guilty to first-degree murder. His lawyer tried to argue for a lesser charge, tried to say it wasn't premeditated, that it was a moment of panic. But the evidence was overwhelming. The scratches inside the trunk, the journal entry, the confession he gave right in front of witnesses. The prosecutor laid it all out. How Dad had been living a double life for 12 years. How he had another wife and 2 children in a town 40 miles away. How he'd been stealing money from Mum's accounts to support both families. How Violet discovered the truth and threatened to expose him. How he lured her to the lake that night under the pretense of talking. How he grabbed her when she tried to run. How he put her in the trunk of his car and drove to a secluded part of the lake. how he held her underwater until she stopped fighting. I testified, sat in that witness box and told the jury everything, about the arguments, about the conversation I overheard, about finding the locket and the journal. Mum couldn't testify. She was too broken, too medicated, barely functioning. Dad showed no emotion through the entire trial. He sat at the defense table in his orange jumpsuit, staring straight ahead, his face blank. He never looked at me. Never looked at Mom. When the judge sentenced him to life in prison without possibility of parole, he didn't react at all, just stood up when they told him to and let them lead him away. His other family never showed up. Apparently, when they found out what he'd done, they wanted nothing to do with him. The woman he'd been living with claimed she had no idea he had another wife and daughter. Maybe that was true. Maybe she was just another one of his victims. Mum and I move out of the house a month after the trial ends. Neither of us can stand to be there anymore. Every room holds memories that hurt too much now. We rent a small apartment across town, and Mum starts seeing a therapist twice a week. She's slowly getting better, slowly learning to function again. But there's a hollowness in her eyes that I don't think will ever fully go away. I go back to school for my senior year. It's hard, everyone knows what happened. Some people stare, some people whisper, some avoid me completely like tragedy is contagious. But Violet's friends rally around me, include me in their group, make sure I'm not alone. I join the track team like Violet always wanted me to. I apply to colleges across the country like she planned to do. I'm living the life she was supposed to have. And it hurts, but it also feels right. Like I'm carrying her with me. 3 months after the funeral, I'm lying in my new bedroom, unable to sleep. I'm thinking about Violet, about everything that happened when I noticed something on my windowsill, something that wasn't there when I went to bed. I get up slowly and walk over. My heart stops. It's Violet's locket, the one I gave to Officer Cole as evidence, the one that should be locked away in an evidence room somewhere. But here it is, sitting in the moonlight, the silver catching the glow. I pick it up with shaking hands and open it. The note is gone. Instead, there are 2 photos inside like there used to be. Pictures of me and Violet when we were 13, grinning at the camera, our arms around each other. I don't remember putting these back. I don't remember having this locket at all, but somehow I know it's real. Somehow I know this is Violet's way of telling me she's okay, that she's finally at peace, that I can stop carrying the guilt and just live. I clasp the locket around my neck. It feels warm against my skin, comforting. That night I sleep better than I have in months. No nightmares. No wet footprints, just peaceful darkness and dreams of better days. In the morning, I wake to sunlight streaming through my window. I touch the locket at my throat and smile, really smile, for the first time since that terrible night at Crescent Lake. I get dressed and make breakfast. Mum is already awake, sitting at our small kitchen table with coffee and her therapy workbook. She looks up when I come in and gives me a small, sad smile. "You're wearing her locket," she says softly. "Yeah," I say, touching it gently. I think she'd want me to. After breakfast, I grab my backpack and head out. I have track practice after school today, then I'm meeting Violet's friends to study for our history test. Normal things, life things. As I walk to the bus stop, I pull out my phone and look at my college applications. 5 schools, all of them far from here. All of them places where I can start fresh, build a new life, become the person Violet believed I could be. I think about her every day. The pain hasn't gone away. Maybe it never will. But I'm learning to carry it differently now. Not as a weight that drags me down, but as a reminder of how much she loved me, how much she sacrificed to protect me. At the cemetery later that week, I stand at Violet's grave with fresh flowers. The headstone is finished now, beautiful white marble with her name and dates and a quote she always loved. She believed she could. So she did. I kneel down and place the flowers carefully. "I got into Columbia," I tell her. "Full scholarship. I'm going to study law. I'm going to help people like us. People who need someone to fight for them. The wind picks up again, that same warm breeze, and I close my eyes. For just a moment I feel like she's here with me, like she's proud of me, like everything is going to be okay. I'm living for both of us, I whisper, just like I promised. I stand up, touch the locket one more time, and walk away. Not running from the past, but walking toward the future. The future Violet never got to have, but the one I'll live fully in her honor. Behind me, if I'd turned around, I might have seen them. Wet footprints appearing on the grass beside her grave for just a moment, then fading away into nothing. One last goodbye. One last promise kept. But I don't turn around. I keep walking forward. Because that's what Violet would want. That's what she died trying to protect. My chance to live freely, to chase my dreams, to be brave. And I will be. For her, for me, for both of us.